Some war films thrill, others inspire, but only a rare few truly reflect what happened. From combat on the ground to strategy at the highest levels, these films are benchmarks of historical accuracy. In this video, we'll explore 15 of the most historically accurate World War II movies ever made. The Longest Day, 1962. When it comes to scale, scope, and painstaking historical detail, The Longest Day remains a gold standard. Released in 1962 and based on the meticulously researched book by war correspondent Cornelius Ryan, the film is a sweeping retelling of the D-Day landings on the 6th of June. 1,944 seen from American, British, French, and German perspectives. Unlike many war films that simplify or dramatize, this production aimed for factual fidelity from the beginning. Producer Darryl F. Zanuck went to extraordinary lengths to ensure accuracy. He enlisted 3 directors to handle the different national viewpoints, filmed on real locations in Normandy, and included dialogue in French and German, a rarity at the time. The ensemble cast included John Wayne, Richard Burton, Sean Connery, Robert Mitchum, and Henry Fonda, portraying real military figures. The film covers both the high-level command decisions and ground-level struggles. Paratroopers landing behind enemy lines, the storming of Omaha Beach, the Pegasus Bridge assault all are recreated with input from veterans who were there. Historians and military consultants were on set to ensure uniforms, tactics, and even small procedural moments matched the reality of 1,944. Filming took place on actual D-Day locations whenever possible, adding to the immersive realism. Zanuck even recruited former German officers and Allied soldiers as technical advisors. While a few liberties are taken for narrative pacing, such as condensing timelines or simplifying command structure, no major fictional events or characters were introduced. The film also avoids over-dramatizing heroics. It leans into the confusion, complexity, and cost of the invasion. Torah Tora, 1970. Of all the films that attempt to portray the lead-up to and attack on Pearl Harbor, Torah stands apart as the most scrupulously researched and balanced. A joint American-Japanese production, the film was directed by Richard Fleischer, U.S. Levin's Frozen segments, and Kinji Fukasaku and Toshio Masuda, Japanese segments, giving both sides of the conflict equal weight and cultural context. The film's title comes from the code transmitted by the Japanese Air Fleet commander to signal that surprise had been achieved. Tora! Tiger! Unlike earlier films that cast the Pearl Harbor attack in black and white terms, this one examines the diplomatic failures, missed warnings, and strategic miscalculations that led to the 7th of December, 1941 catastrophe. It is meticulous in laying out timelines, citing real meetings, and accurately portraying the chain of events from the intercepts ignored in Washington to the Japanese Navy's careful planning under Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto. The use of 2 production teams ensured authentic language, cultural nuance, and military detail. Real aircraft, including Japanese Zero replicas, were used in the stunning recreation of the attack. The film avoids sensationalism. There are no fictional romantic subplots or invented heroes. Instead, it adheres closely to verified history, showing how multiple failures, not malice or neglect, allowed the attack to succeed. One standout moment is the film's depiction of American radar operators detecting the incoming planes, only to be dismissed by superiors as a B-17 formation. That incident happened and is portrayed exactly as documented in military reports. Das Boot, 1981. Though released in 1981, Das Boot stands as one of the most historically accurate and immersive portrayals of World War II, particularly from the perspective of German servicemen. Directed by Wolfgang Petersen, the film is based on the semi-autobiographical novel by Lothar Günther Buchheim, who served as a war correspondent aboard a German U-boat during the war. The story follows the crew of U-96, a Type 8E submarine, during a patrol in the North Atlantic in 1941. What sets Das Boot apart is its rejection of wartime mythologies. There are no grandiose missions or political statements, just life inside a steel tube under crushing pressure. Literal and emotional. The film's emphasis on routine, boredom, fear, and sudden terror mirrors the real psychological experience reported by Kriegsmarine veterans. Every technical aspect was meticulously crafted. Peterson had a full-scale U-boat interior built on a gimbal, allowing the camera to capture narrow, claustrophobic movement as authentically as possible. The crew's uniforms, dialects, and procedures were verified by naval consultants, and the film incorporates real U-boat tactics, silent running, crash dives, and torpedo targeting, all shown in detail without sensationalism. While Buheim criticized the film's dramatized tone at times, he acknowledged the technical authenticity. The central figures, though fictionalized, are composites drawn from real officers and enlisted men. Their exhaustion, camaraderie, and emotional breakdowns reflect accurate psychological profiles documented during the war. The film also highlights the moral ambiguity of the German side. Battle of Britain, 1969. Of the many films made about aerial combat in World War II, Battle of Britain, 1969, stands out as one of the most meticulously researched and visually accurate depictions of the real campaign that took place in the skies above England between July and October 1940. Directed by Guy Hamilton, the film chronicles the Royal Air Force's defense against the German Luftwaffe during one of the most pivotal moments of the war. The film's screenplay, drawn in part from official British Air Ministry documents and first-person accounts, carefully follows the actual sequence of events, including Adlertag, Eagle Day, the shift in German strategy from attacking radar installations to bombing London, and the eventual stalling of Hitler's invasion plans. It portrays key British leaders such as Air Chief Marshal Hugh Dowding and Vice Marshal Keith Park, both of whom played critical roles in the defense. Rather than relying on models or special effects, the production used dozens of restored aircraft, including Supermarine Spitfires, Hawker Hurricanes, and Spanish-built Messerschmitt Bf 109 II, filmed in real flight. These authentic planes lend the dogfight sequences a rare realism, unmatched by most war films then or since. The film avoids fictional protagonists. Instead, it uses an ensemble cast, including Michael Caine, Laurence Olivier, Robert Shaw, and Christopher Plummer, to portray actual RAF personnel and commanders, with their strategic debates and emotional tolls treated with respect and nuance. The Luftwaffe is also shown with complexity, including dissenting officers and conflicting orders from high command. One of the most accurate elements is the emphasis on radar and communication revolutionary systems that gave Britain a crucial edge. The film correctly credits these technologies with helping the RAF overcome a numerically superior enemy. A Bridge Too Far, 1977. Directed by Richard Attenborough and based on the best-selling book by Cornelius Ryan, A Bridge Too Far, 1977, chronicles the real-life events of Operation Market Garden, a bold but ultimately unsuccessful Allied operation. In September 1944, the mission aimed to capture a series of bridges in the Netherlands, culminating in the seizure of the bridge at Arnhem, the last crossing over the Rhine into Germany. What sets the film apart is its commitment to historical accuracy. It covers the full scope of the operation, from the American and British paratroopers dropped behind enemy lines to the coordination and miscommunication among ground forces racing to meet them. The screenplay by William Goldman closely follows Ryan's detailed research, drawing from interviews with survivors and military records. The film boasts one of the largest all-star casts in film history, including Sean Connery, Michael Caine, Robert Redford, Gene Hackman, Anthony Hopkins, and James Caan, each portraying actual figures involved in the operation. The film does not rely on fictional characters or composite figures, but keeps to the true personalities and their known wartime actions. Military consultants and veterans worked alongside the filmmakers to ensure authenticity in tactics, uniforms, language, and locations. It was even filmed on the actual roads, towns, and bridges where the events unfolded. The airborne drops, armored movements, and street-to-street fighting were choreographed with precise adherence to the battle's known timeline. Importantly, A Bridge Too Far doesn't shy away from controversy. It highlights Allied overconfidence, logistical delays, and intelligence failures, particularly the underestimation of German SS Panzer divisions near Arnhem. The Bridge on the River Quai, 1957. Directed by David Lean, The Bridge on the River Quai, 1957, is one of the most celebrated war films of its era, though dramatized in certain aspects. The movie is rooted in the real experiences of Allied prisoners of war, POWs forced by the Japanese Imperial Army to build the Burma Railway during World War II, a project later known as the Death Railway due to its horrific conditions and staggering loss of life. The film is adapted from a 1952 novel by Pierre Boulle, itself inspired by events surrounding the construction of a bridge over the River Quai in Thailand in 1942-43. The central figure, Colonel Nicholson, played by Alec Guinness, is a fictional character, but his moral dilemmas reflect real tensions among captured officers. Cooperation versus resistance, dignity versus pride, survival versus sabotage. Where the film deviates from strict fact, such as British officers willingly aiding Japanese engineers to build a structurally sound bridge, it does so to explore the psychology of command under captivity. In truth, many POWs actively resisted and engaged in covert sabotage. However, the core historical setting, the brutal conditions, lack of food, rampant disease, and the high death toll is grounded in documented history. Over 12,000 Allied POWs and nearly 100,000 Asian laborers perished during the railway's construction. The production itself made efforts toward authenticity. It was shot in Ceylon, modern-day Sri Lanka, in terrain that mirrored the dense jungle environment, and Lean's direction captures both the beauty and menace of that setting. The film's climax, the spectacular destruction of the bridge, is fictional to some extent and serves as a metaphor for the moral collapse of Nicholson's misplaced loyalty. Despite its dramatic liberties, historians have long acknowledged the bridge on the River Quai as an entry point into one of the lesser-known atrocities of the Pacific theater.